Hello all and welcome, and I am the MGTOW Philosopher, and in this video I will be talking about the comments from MGTOW haters, people who essentially hate MGTOW. Now, originally this was going to be a once a week, but it really all depends on how many comments I get. If I don't get enough nasty, hateful comments in a week, it'll be longer than that in between videos. This is volume number 5. So, it will go from most recent to oldest. And we will start with Atomic Murphy. On my video, Genuine Peach thinks MGTOW are losers. So, MGTOW Philosopher, you're saying that instead of banding together to change things like the feminists and others do, we should just bow out. Okay, first of all, isn't bowing out actually doing something? Guess he doesn't see that. Maybe we should just inform men instead of looking at real solutions. So informing other men about how good a deal MGTOW is and that alone is enough to change things. And it's really the only option we have because we're not going to change things to any vote. And protesting won't really work because the mainstream media won't cover it, although brand us as a joke. Or they really just won't cover it. So you say what? That's not a solution? Let's just blame society and leave. Society doesn't exist. If we're talking about blaming someone, it would be the system that has empowered women and their true natures to run amok. So we're blaming feminism, we're blaming the system, and blaming female nature. Yeah, okay. I don't blame society, though, because society doesn't exist. It's just a construct. Interesting. I'm glad all my fellow men just bowed out when we fought the Nazis in World War II. Okay, so you were equating Hitler's regime to feminism. Well, there actually are some parallels, you know. You've got Antifa. They're all feminists. And the Nazi regime was actually a leftist movement, not a rightist movement. The National Socialist Party. People always tend to forget the socialist word. Revisionist historians have essentially whitewashed history and erased the fact that it was really a leftist movement, not a rightist movement. But anyway, oh wait, they didn't. So what's your solution? Oh, you're just coming on here essentially with critical theory. So you're a leftist. You're really a leftist, Atomic Murphy, and you're a disinformation junkie. You're coming in here essentially trying to smear MGTOW and make it look like a movement that essentially isn't accomplishing anything, won't accomplish anything, so don't join it. Okay, I see. MGTOW not being a movement makes it pretty much a bowel movement. You're just a disinformation junkie, Atomic Murphy. I see that now. Ben Richards said it best. You're a bunch of low foreheads that think you can change the world with talk. I thought you said that talk doesn't do anything. Now you're saying talk does something? Well, which is it? Until you're ready to act, give me a break and shut up. Act? How? What exactly do you think we can do, Atomic Murphy? So women control the vote. They outnumber us. Women are not going to vote to disenfranchise themselves. It's never happened in the history of the world. Nobody has ever voted to disenfranchise themselves, and the government is not going to do anything to disenfranchise the people that are keeping them in power because they won't be in power very long. So how exactly are we supposed to change things, pal? Grab AK-47s and start shooting women? I don't think that would go over very well. But what we can do is inform other men of the realities of female nature, how it's run amok, how the system favors women, and why, at this point in time, the best thing we can do is walk away. But you don't see that as enough. So just do nothing. Which is what you advocate. I see, disinformation junkie Atomic Murphy. Thank you for your comment. Next comment from Antoinette DeMarie. Okay. And my video, why are men still getting married? No, you're the MGTOW propagandist. It's a cult. It is? Really? Do you know what a cult is? Because we're not a cult. Cults are generally very organized, all right? We're like the opposite of organized, but we're a cult? Okay. You know, cults were like that Jonestown, and that guy Jones said, drink the poison Kool-Aid, or I'll shoot you in the fucking head. That's a cult, sweetheart. Nobody's holding a gun to my head and telling me to drink the cyanide-laced Kool-Aid, but I'm a cultist? Really? Cults have very well-developed dogma and tenets and ideology that are very, very strict in how they're followed. Men, on the other hand, are a MGTOW. Don't marry a woman. Don't live with a woman. Don't have kids with a woman. Don't put yourself in a position to give her resources or in any way allow her to take your resources. That doesn't sound like a cult. That sounds like some guidelines, very general guidelines, and otherwise do whatever the hell you want. Yeah, that's a cult. I think you need to look in a dictionary, my leftist friend, and find out what the word cult means, because you spend far too much time on the left and far too much time living in this echo chamber where everything's open to interpretation. I could just change the meaning of words so they mean whatever I want them to mean. Yeah, that's a really interesting way to try and communicate. Every single word has a different definition based on who you talk to. Yeah, that's really going to promote effective communication. She goes on to say, 50% of marriages do not end in divorce. Yeah, they do. Where are you getting your numbers? I'm not even going to go into addressing this. The average marriage in America lasts 8.7 years. Okay? 8.7. Enough said. The BS you spew is garbage, cynical, misguided, and erroneous. MGTOW is a cult. I just proved you wrong. Next. From Jim Gallagher. MGTOW don't hate women. We hate white knights. That's the video it's from. All right. So, he says, I hate dumbass MGTOW. That is why I am all over the place. MGTOW could be helping men by protesting biased divorce laws, etc. But instead of that reasonable and helpful kind of effort, all there ever is consists of childish ranting, demeaning women. When MGTOW grow up, I'll stop talking. So, I'm guessing you are a divorced man, and you're somehow angry at us, MGTOW, because we're not protesting what you'd like us to protest. But in fact, we are protesting. Seems we have a different idea of protesting. My idea of protesting is speaking out via a platform that actually allows my words to get out there, while your idea of protesting is go out in the street and expose myself to bricks getting thrown at my head and not being covered by the media, because the mainstream media will never cover anything like that. And maybe 5 guys that show up because they're all afraid of having bricks thrown at their head, or some crazy Antifa motherfuckers showing up with baseball bats to beat them up or kill them. Yeah, I think this is more effective, and obviously and honestly, this is the one medium where we can get our word out, okay? You're not going to do it insofar as going out in the street, because the mainstream media is controlled by leftists. They will not cover such events. They scorn and ridicule anybody that does actually speak up. Just look at their coverage of the, what would you call it, the MRAs, the men's rights activists. They don't even cover them, and when they do, they make them look like fools. And then whenever these guys have some kind of event, some kind of counter event shows up of crazy feminists to attack them or shut them down, they can't shut me down here, you see. So I'm getting more coverage here than I would out there, okay? Next point. You could be helping, but instead of reasonable and helpful kind of effort, I think I am being very helpful. And by the way, divorce law, so you're a divorced guy, okay? What do you think we're talking about here, okay? What do you think men are talking about? And by the way, if you want things to change, go talk to other men. Because it's the white knight, Simpson, Mangina. So instead of attacking the people, so you're attacking me. I'm someone who's actually trying to change things and help you. But you're going after, instead of going after the people who are making it impossible for things to get done, the white knights, Manginas, the simps, you're coming after me? It seems like you are attacking the wrong people. Childish rants demeaning women. No, I'm simply pointing out female nature and advising men to exercise the only reasonable, rational tool they have in a system where they have no power in regards to changing policy. And that's to use their feet. If no men get with women, women will change the system, so men will get with them. But until that happens, if men continue to get with women, nothing will change. Duh. Next comment from a Christopher. And my video, Genuine Peach Thinks MGTOW Are Losers. I'm 5 minutes into this. You really suck at impromptu reaction videos. Well, I think the 95% plus thumbs up ratio would say most people think otherwise. Please make a script and just make your fucking points if you want to take on her argument. I took her on her argument and I destroyed her. as do the majority of people, more than 95%, believe. So you're wrong. Next, from a JT353. Genuine Peach thinks MGTOW are losers. Fundamentally, MGTOW is about resentment. No. It's not about resentment. I don't resent women. This is the thing. So all these anti-MGTOW guys, and this could be a guy, this could be a woman, they've chosen a moniker that is essentially androgynous, so I don't know. Could be either. They like to assume the worst, that it's like some kind of resentment because no reasonable, rational man could choose to walk away from women in any serious way. Oh, God, no. Why would you just want to have sex with women and not want to live with one and marry one and give away all your shit to one? How could it be a good philosophy? It's not a philosophy. Even people in this movement, they tend to think it's philosophy. It's not a philosophy. There's no philosophy. There's no dogma. There's no teachings. Unless you consider 4 sentences. Don't marry her. Don't live with her. Don't have kids with her. Don't in any way allow her to get your resources. Don't give her shit. I mean, how is that a philosophy? It's not. And it's not about resentment. It's about logic and reason, about protecting yourself. And you open your eyes up, if you're a guy, you open your eyes up and you look at the risks involved in getting with a woman in any serious way, that even if you live with her, you can be essentially exposing yourself to palimony laws where she could still take half your shit. And if you do live with her, you can't get her out. It could take you 6 months to get her out. You have to evict her and shit. You can't change the locks. I mean, if things go awry, really, there's so much bad shit and no good shit that comes in the form of living with a woman or being in a serious relationship with one. It's all negatives. It's all positives for them. And yet you're saying that seeing that, recognizing the pros and cons, that men choosing to walk away is about resentment? I think you need to rethink your very limited argument. Next, from a Leona Byzantium. Oh, interesting name. What women think is a good man and why they can't find them. That's the video. And how by chance did you formulate your approximation of what women think is a good man? Or are you just parroting hyperbole as usual to make a quick buck on the internets? No. As for what I think women think is a good man, I use my brain. I use logic, I reason to look around at society and see who women are marrying and why they're marrying them. And by the way, I've dated a lot of women. How many women have you dated? Oh, 0? Next, from Antoinette DeMarie again on my video. Article portrays MGTOW as a woman-hating ideology. And this is a long comment, so it should be very amusing. Or at least I hope it will be. MGTOW is a woman-hating cult. Really? I wasn't aware of that. If it's a cult, I didn't know it. Don't you have to, know you're in a cult to, for it to be a cult? I mean, it has to be some kind of group. MGTOW's not a group. We don't have any centralized leadership. How can it be a cult? Very interesting. No doubt about it. Oh, there's plenty of doubt, honey. In fact, it's factually false. Again, another nutty leftist that doesn't know what the word cult means. So, a cult is an organized group that follows a specific ideology, and they all follow the exact same teachings. If you look at MGTOW, we really only adhere to 2 or 3 things. Don't marry a woman, don't have kids with a woman, don't live with a woman. That's it. Then everything else is different. You talk to one MGTOW guy, I don't sleep with women. I don't have anything to do with it. Talk to another MGTOW guy, yeah, I bang lots of chicks, but I don't, have serious relationships with them. Talk to another guy, yeah, sometimes I bang chicks, but most of the time I avoid them. It's different. It's all different. How can that be a cult? You don't know what a cult is. This nutty cult is playing right into the hands of globalist Marxists that are trying to undermine and destroy the family by weaponizing women. If women are being weaponized, then how are we playing into the hands of the global elites by not getting with women? Wouldn't we be playing into their hands if we essentially got with women who were the weapon? Yeah, I don't think you're thinking about your arguments. Big surprise, this is a woman. MGTOW, just like cults do, coin labels, and any challenge to their delusional anger-fueled mass delusion is labeled, then comfortably set aside so they don't have to think or reflect upon their narrowly defined, broadly brushed construct of all women being stupid, cold-blooded, manipulative. By the way, there's no periods here. It's just like a long-ass run-on sentence with 57 fucking commas. It's horrible writing. Male-dependent sluts incapable of love. And they're only out to marry a man to steal his money, house, and vehicle, then divorce him and move on to another helpless sucker. Well, there's the first period. It's like 150 words and then a period. What the fuck? Bitch, you need to learn how to write. You need to learn how to write before you post a message, okay? I mean, this is just grade school crap. I mean, you know, I'm fine answering your goddamn comment, but if I have to spend time editing your writing to answer you, you have some serious issues with your freaking grammar. I can accept a few typos or something, but this is ridiculous. MGTOW is not a woman. That just pisses me off. Send me a message that I can actually freaking read without having to use a grammar checker or stop every 3 fucking words to correct your mistakes, okay? It's not broadly brushed. It's not, first it's broadly brushed, then it's narrowly defined. So you say it's narrow and then it's broad. Make up your fucking mind. It can't be narrowly defined and then broadly brushed. You just said the same goddamn thing, only contradicting what you just said. I'm not even going to comment anymore on this because you can't write at all, and you show total lack of consideration for me by making this comment and expecting me to reply to it. Next. From a guy named Goomba Oomba. Now I'm just pissed off. So this guy Goomba is probably going to get blasted in the ass. Because this dumb broad who just commented makes this stupid long run-on sentence I can't even fucking read. And if English is her first language, she should be ashamed. Okay. You aren't the backbone of anything. He's replying to somebody saying that MGTOW men are not the backbone of anything. You're a few thousand bitter betas. Okay, so him saying that is very telling because beta is a term that MGTOW guys use. So he's clearly been called a beta. He's angry. He's resentful toward MGTOW for pointing out that he is essentially a cuck, a mangina, a beta, a pussy. And so he wants to lash out at us and label MGTOW guys as what he actually is. The backbone of society are normal men. Oh, really? So normal men, you define normal men as what? Guys who will not assess the pros and cons of a situation and get into a relationship that is inherently bad for them, sign a bad business deal, lose half their shit, and be disenfranchised and then kill themselves with a 45 to the head. That's your idea of a normal man? Well, I guess it explains why the suicide rate in America is 87% or something of all suicides are men. I guess that explains it because the normal men are doing all the right things, right? So many things right that they're killing themselves. And you know those high death by gun rates you hear every year? The majority of those, something like 66% of those deaths that you hear about gun deaths are suicides, and 80% of those, 7% of those are men. Those are the normal men you're talking about, buddy. The men who didn't stop, didn't look at the possible repercussions of their actions. And then later on, they found out the hard way that doing things the quote-unquote normal way, as you define them, is just being a sheep, and a sheep being led to slaughter, I might add. So maybe we need to rethink the normal man's approach to things. Don't you think? Next comment. Also by Goomba. Women are not out to get you. They're just dumb. I'll agree with that comment. They're just dumb. As far as out to get you, how do you define that? What does out to get you mean? They're not purposely trying to destroy you. They are just incidentally destroying you when they take all your shit. I don't see the difference. Whether or not it's purposeful or not, the end result is what matters. So your argument is specious. Become a real man and you'll find a respectable woman. A real man like you. And by the way that you talk tells me that you've been in a bad relationship and you've probably failed and that you're not happy, because if you were happy, you wouldn't feel the need to lash out at us MGTOW guys. Next comment. From a J3Y Oblivion. Interesting name. And my video, Genuine Peach thinks MGTOW are losers. MGTOW philosopher. That was pathetic. Well, thank you. And you're a cuck. And the fact that you're replying to my video tells me that I am making some progress. That was the response of a willfully ignorant child. I'm just getting the voice in my head of like a dumb troll. You really have nothing figured out except that this MGTOW thing. What? Yeah, another person who can't write. He's not as bad as that Antoinette chit was, but it's pretty bad. So people just eat everything you say up. I see, so you're jealous. Nobody listens to you, but people are actually listening to me, and you say to yourself, gee, How is anybody listening to this MGTOW philosopher dude? But nobody will listen to me. Listen to me, everyone. Listen to me. Nobody will listen to you. Then you get angry. You wonder why nobody's listening to you. You poor guy, you. Yeah, why aren't you rich? Why aren't you successful? Yeah. Your moans are the moans of a leftist, socialist loser, okay, who hasn't made anything of his life. And you're angry about other people who have things that you don't have. I see. But people who really have an expertise on fascism would school you like the little boy you are. Actually, fascism is really just another form of socialism. If you take a look at Nazi Germany in the 30s and 40s, it was a socialist country. National socialism, that's the only difference. It took nationalism, married it with socialism. And fascism actually came from Italy and Mussolini. I'm very well schooled on fascism, but I don't think you are. Luckily for you, someone who really understands what's going on with the fascists wouldn't waste their time trying to educate someone who makes the mental leaps like you with statements such as anti-fascism equals fascism. Yeah, I wonder where I got that idea. The anti-fascists are just running around the streets wearing masks and skull masks, and they're all dressed the same so that the cops can't identify them, and they're whacking people over the head with baseball bats and bike locks and running around macing people, trying to frighten them into shutting up. Yeah, I wonder where I got the idea that they might be fascists. You should be ashamed of yourself, but you're not mentally composed enough to figure that out. You're a very funny guy with your stupidity. J3Y Oblivion. You made me laugh. Thank you. Next comment from a young Victor. And my video, Genuine Peach Thinks MGTOW Are Loser. Wow, that video really got a lot of play. A lot of people have a lot of things to say. Of course, anytime somebody actually stands up to and corrects a woman, puts a woman in her place, lets her know what she's saying is stupid, in any way seems like they are attacking a woman, you have the white knights and the cuck mangina wimps come out of the woodwork to defend her. I am MGTOW as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but the anti-feminism is just feminism is stupid. Well, clearly you didn't watch my video on the subject, did you? Have you ever listened to an anti-feminist talk? They sound just like this girl, but they'll be even more obvious in the fact that they're feminists. Yeah, she said she was a feminist. I'm against third-wave feminism. I'm anti-feminist. Then she says she's not a feminist, which means you're, yeah. And then she's, I'm against feminism. Well, you're anti-feminist then. But then she's blathering on, saying all this feminist shit. And if you listen to all these anti-feminist authors, they're not anti-feminist. They're against third-wave feminism, but they're very much for first- and second-wave feminism, and they're all egalitarians. They're all feminists. So the people calling themselves anti-feminists are actually feminists. So how am I wrong? You have no argument for that. You're just using critical theory, which comes to the Frankfurt School. Simply criticize the other person. Offer no arguments. Offer no solutions. Just criticize. I see. Next comment from Bob Bruce on Genuine Peach Thinks MGTOW Are Losers. I am not white knighting here, but if you think this girl has an SMV of 2, okay, then what exactly constitutes a girl who is attractive enough for you? Well, first of all, I'm not the most picky guy. I mean, she's got to be decent looking, but, you know, she can't be, like, annoying. Like, every time she opens her mouth, it's verbal diarrhea. Somebody blathering on constantly about things they don't know anything about is so annoying that it drops her freaking rating as far as her looks go by half, at least. So even if she was a 5 or 6, she becomes a 2 or 3. That's how it works. How many hot 8s or 9s are you getting? Gotten quite a few. And by the way, how many have you gotten? And by the way, that's a very, very trad cuck, pathetic white knight mangina argument there. It's a shaming tactic, which you would expect from a woman or a feminized male. Just wanted to point that out for you, Bob. Sounds like a little sour grape. Sour grapes for who? What are you talking about? Who had the sour grapes? I need somebody to feel sour toward. What am I feeling? Who am I feeling sour towards? The girl that made the stupid video that I replied to? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I have real sour grapes toward a 21-year-old who's made nothing of her life, hasn't accomplished a goddamn thing, and I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Yeah, I'm real sour about that. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, wait. We have a profound dynamic with the self that gives us narcissistic supply. Oy vey. That's why some are delusional enough to believe in gods and even fly into skyscrapers for virgins. So you just went completely off topic and into another argument that you in no way made any effort to connect with what you were just saying. You just went off on a tangent. I shouldn't be surprised. Next comment from a Fandar. And the video Genuine Peach thinks MGTOW are losers. Okay. She is fucking beautiful. You guys are just pretending she's ugly because you hate feminists. Dude, first of all, I think her name has something to do with her hair color. I think the hair color is peach. And so she's Genuine Peach, which is kind of funny because you can see the roots are like not peach. You can see the roots. and she's a brunette. And those horrible bangs, by the way, which make her look like a Klingon. And no, it's not a good look. I don't think she's beautiful at all. When she was criticizing Anita, you guys were all calling her beautiful. I never called her beautiful. I don't even know. The only time I knew she criticized Anita was when she said it in her video. I was like, meh, so what? So what? What does that have to do with this argument? And by the way, it wouldn't have anything to do with how I thought about how she looked. Of course, whether or not she's attractive, you see, I'm not a young kid, so a woman's looks don't have much effect on me. What comes to a point, of course, if a woman's hot, but once she starts talking, it's like, she can drop 2 or 3 or 4 points. I mean, really, if I have to listen to somebody blather on about things they know nothing about, that's going to drop her appeal by half. As for her being beautiful, what the hell are you smoking, pal? Are you doing crack? Are you doing LSD or something, one of those drugs that radically alters your perceptions? Because she's not beautiful. By any stretch of the imagination, if I had to rate her, I would rate her maybe like a 4 without makeup. She's got to put on makeup to ratchet herself up a point or 2. And with all that verbal diarrhea coming out of her mouth, she rates like as a 2 or 3, which makes her essentially untouchable and in line with a big fat woman. So beautiful? No. Next comment, also from Fandar. Hey, what's wrong with bangs? They look good on a girl. Well, no. I think it depends on the bangs. If you can't see the forehead, she's trying to hide something there. Maybe there's some kind of a breakout. A pizza face problem going on there. I don't know, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look when the bangs are so large and protruding that you expect to see bumps on her head like Klingon ridges that you would see on a Klingon's forehead. That's not so attractive. Doesn't make much of a difference either way. She was wearing heavy amounts of makeup. Yeah, why do you think that is? The uglier a chick is, the more makeup she wears, as I would call it, fake up, okay? Because she was trying to prepare for dipshits who discuss her appearance rather than her arguments. All I discussed was her arguments. That was all I discussed. Maybe you're watching a different video than I did, or maybe you're commenting on people's comments. And some people can be somewhat petty. But I think the point that they were trying to make is this girl essentially thinks she's all that and makes all of these ridiculous arguments, and she's not even that attractive. She's not even that attractive, but she's talking like she can get any man. She's talking like, I'm all that, boys. You know you all want me. She had this huge, huge chip on her shoulder and this massive ego. And yeah, so people were trying to bring her down a peg or two and clue her into the reality that, hey, you're not all that hot, honey. So if you're expecting to fall back on your looks, good luck, because your arguments are crap. And you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So that's the kind of the point people were trying to make. They're trying to check her ego, which is out of control. Tucker was essentially an egomaniac. That you don't see that, and you think people are just outrightly trying to be petty for the most part, you're wrong. Next comment from a Miraja Drakaj. Oy vey. Can't you pick a name that people can pronounce easily? And from my video, article portrays MGTOW as woman-hating ideology. If misogyny could be applied to a group, that would be MGTOW and misandry to feminism. Okay, so we got a beta, cuck, androgynous male here. Maybe. Just look at the articles MGTOW comment on in the comments section as well. Hate fumes out of their mouth by dehumanizing them by saying the most horrendous things a man could ever say to a woman. I don't know. We're not saying them to a woman. We're just making general observations. By considering useless. What? I think you meant to put in the pronoun them. Okay, so I guess he's talking about he, she, whatever, that MGTOW men are considering women useless. I don't consider them useless. They have a use. They're good for sex. That's about it. By seeing them as just sex objects, that means they're not useless. All true in nature, by the way. What are you arguing for then? You just agreed with me. You idiot. You can't even own it. I'm a misogynist and I'm a woman. What? Okay. Shouldn't it be misandry? So you're a woman, so the writer's a woman. Wouldn't it be misandry then, or do you hate other women? And I'm a woman. Nature is misogynist. You mean misogynistic? What is it with you women replying that you can't write? And racist too, for that matter, you snowflake. So, okay, maybe you're saying you hate men, but it should be misandrist then? I have no idea what this person's saying, but I'll continue. As maybe I'll get a point somewhere here that makes sense. Women were designed by nature to be incubators for the human species and sex objects. I understand misogyny. You just said you're a misogynist, so you hate women too, and you're a woman. Okay. As I do misandry. What? Women resent men because of sexual dimorphism and having to be dependent on men. Okay, well, you just said something that makes sense. Men and women do not complement each other. As a matter of fact, genders have opposed mating strategies beyond sex and reproduction. Men and women have nothing in common. Just go and fuck yourself, you coward. I don't know what you're objecting to. It sounds like you're agreeing with everything I said. You're one angry broad. Probably haven't gotten any of the sausage injection in some time. This video is fucking filled with contradictions. Honey, your reply is full of contradictions. Tell me the contradictions. I mean, I love that this is something leftists do. They love to do this. They'll criticize, and they'll say something, and then they won't provide any argument for it. Yeah, your video is filled with contradictions. Okay, name a few. Oh, I can't. So you name nothing. You just make the accusation, and then you don't name any contradictions. Okay, who's the coward then? You're not willing to put yourself up there and have your arguments be analyzed in any way, shape, or form so that they could be discredited. Yeah, you're a coward, honey. And your comment is full of contradictions. You're agreeing with me, then you're calling me a coward. What the hell? We fucking need a damn war to get rid of all this weakness. It's so pathetic to watch the mental gymnastics. Oh my God. Like you are doing in your reply? Just call shit like it is and be at peace. People will respect you more. What are you talking about? I've called shit like it is. And by the way, everything you said, your comment agreed with everything I said. This is just some troll who's essentially trying to make a name for themselves by disagreeing with me, but they don't actually disagree with me. It's very strange. Next, from Walej. It's been some time since I've heard about Walej, the troll who has been trolling my channel since it first started. Hello, Walej. On my video, article portrays MGTOW as woman-hating ideology. Women are trying to disenfranchise men? Bullshit. Really? It's not bullshit? So, essentially, women have more power in society. They're twice as likely to get hired as a man applying for the same job. They make more money now on average than men. They will get the kids. They will get the car. They will get the house. They will get half his money or more. They will get alimony. They will get child support if there's a divorce. Tell me some arena that exists where women are not superior to a man and who are not more enfranchised than men. Can you do it? I don't think you can. You lot are the ones talking about how women shouldn't vote. Well, look at the state of the world, pal. Look at the state of the world. And by the way, we're not doing anything to stop them from voting. We're just saying, we're pointing out that they have ruined the world. And that it's because they got the right to vote. And because there's more of them. So the politicians will do what they want. And then they become useful tools to the leftists and the global elites who want their agendas pushed. So they pander to the women, and they pander to the women, and then the women's groups push for certain laws that benefit the leftists and tangentially benefit the women. And so, yeah, them getting the vote has destroyed the world. What's your point? No point? Okay. And by the way, Walej, women do take actual steps in the physical world to disenfranchise men. Every time men try to get divorce laws changed and settlement laws changed in regards to who gets what after divorce, women fight it all the time. So you were equating talk, which is all we're doing, by making criticism with actions that women actually take to disenfranchise men. And you're trying to argue with me that that's bullshit? No, what you said is bullshit. Next, from a Leona Byzantium. We have a new troll. Article portrays MGTOW as woman-hating ideology. MGTOW philosopher claims that MGTOW is not a philosophy. Laugh my ass off. Tell me how it's a philosophy, honey. Or are you going to just, as a leftist, indoctrinated fool, continue to say it's a philosophy when there's only 4 sentences that have to do with what is essentially a definition? Oh, you can't back up your argument. You just have critical theory from the Frankfurt School. I see. Next, from a Ziara. And my video article portrays MGTOW's woman-hating ideology. Can you answer to my previous question following my comment? If you call a woman whore, do you need an article there, honey? If you call a woman a whore for sleeping with multiple men, in that case, a man sleeping with multiple women is not a man whore. Does man whore behavior define manhood? Yes. Yes. You don't seem to get it. Women and men are biologically different. Something you don't seem to know as a dummy leftist. Let me explain it to you. Men make endless amounts of semen. Women make limited amounts of eggs. Biologically, men are meant to spread their seed as far and wide as possible. Women are meant to be as careful and discriminating as possible about who they mate with. It's not a double standard. It's a biological reality. That's like saying that men and women being different in terms of strength means there's some kind of strength double standard. It doesn't make any sense, okay? This is a biological reality. So, yeah, men can't be whores. It's part of who we are. It's not part of who women are. All women do when they're sleeping around is trying to be like men. And that's why they're so miserable. And next comment from a Lamar Green. And my video, TradCon author says MGTOW are fools. The author is right. I'm going to basically fake a very on-high, righteous voice. You all are just wasting your time. MGTOW are just disgruntled pickup artists because most of you just want sex without a relationship. And then he goes on to say, in parentheses, nothing wrong with that. So why are... What? So you call us out from on high saying that we are this bad thing, implying that it's bad, and then you say it's not bad. So contradiction number one. Just look at your former leader, Baba. Do you mean Barbarossa? He's nobody's leader. Hell, I hadn't even heard of this guy until I came on YouTube and started my channel a few months back. He dropped out and became a player. I don't think he did. I mean, somebody said something like the guy got a girlfriend or something, but unless she's living with him, he's still going to be MGTOW. The only legit MGTOWs are the weak, asexual ones like Stardust. Asexual? I don't even know who Stardust is. Okay, I mean, I've heard the name a few times. I don't know what's going on with this guy's personal situation. At least his hatred makes him create a nihilistic doctrine of abstinence. So this guy Stardust is a MGTOW monk? Okay, so what? Now back to your red pills. Well, maybe back to your red pills, too. You said there's nothing wrong with it. Then you said, oh, it is wrong. Then it's not wrong. I didn't hear any arguments here. I just had heard a lot of ad hominems, personal attacks, and no arguments. So, okay. Next. From Mindful Herbivore. And my video, Ban Porn and Why Porn is Banned. What's the benefit of porn? To be honest, I don't see any other than getting a dopamine high. I have to become a fucking editor now and edit your goddamn comments. You know, these comments have edit function for a reason. I don't see any other... All right, I'm going to input my own words here to correct it. I don't see any other reason... I can't... I'll just read it as it is. I can't make sense of this. I don't see any other than getting a dopamine high from watching it, but it ain't healthy. Ruins the image of beauty standards, and it takes away precious love from a relationship. It also leads to ED. I guess he means erectile dysfunction. I'm getting really pissed off by you people. Listen to me. If you're going to be a hater and you expect me to take you seriously, edit your fucking comments, you bunch of lazy motherfuckers. Take a keyboard and type. And type slowly, because I know you're all hunting and pecking, and you have a difficult time typing because your brain can't keep up with your fingers, and you make all these mistakes because your brain is as slow as you... I mean, good God, you just can't keep up with your fingers, can you? I mean, it's really sad that your fingers move faster than your brains, and you make all these typos, but couldn't you at least go back and edit? I mean, could you do that for me, please? Thank you. You'll make my life a lot easier if you did that. First of all, beauty standards, they're like fat women. You don't have to be perfect. Just don't be fat. Erectile dysfunction? I don't think so. Next comment from N Dusk. And my video, can women and men be friends? No, they can't. So what I have learned here today regarding everything this chronically left-brain YouTuber here says about women in general, I'll break it down. Okay, more horrible writing. Let's see what he has to say. All women are natural-born parasites in flesh and blood. Yep. Nothing more or less. Yep. All women are irrational creatures. Yeah. All women do not love or appreciate anything morally decent by any means whatsoever. I don't know about that. I couldn't speak to individual women, especially when deployed by a man. Oh, yeah, they don't appreciate shit, that's for sure. All women are self-centered narcissists. Yeah, not all. Maybe. I don't know. What does it matter? They act like it. Arrogant by nature. Yep. I mean, you got fat women running around acting like they're all that. Yeah, they're all arrogant by nature. All women are self-proclaimed goddesses. Yep. That's the term divas. Yep. All women are ruthless and self-determinal. Self-detrimental. No. They act in their own best interest. No question about that. They're self-detrimental when it comes to forming long-term bonded relationships that will be successful. Absolutely. But they don't care. They just want to get your money because they don't need a man, right? Because they got the government. All women are severely incapable of showing any genuine emotions to anyone without reaping some sort of vapid benefit. Ooh, I like to use that word, vapid. All women see your money as their god. Yep. All women secretly hate men. Resent at the very least. Yeah. Because they know they are naturally different from them in true nature. Inferior would be the correct word. But instead of admitting that this is actually okay and should be embraced complementarily, all women would rather do everything in their means to control and break down men, even in the name of true, authentic love and justice. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And all women hate themselves for those reasons. No. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that at all. They should, but they don't. All women are metaphorical succubi. I like that word. It's very accurate. All women are shallow, mindless, and heartless. Yeah. I mean, sure, somebody falls out of a tall story of a building sometimes and lives. Sometimes a dog bites man. And sometimes man bites dog. But usually the rare outlier doesn't happen. So generally you fall out of a building from the 10th to 11th story, you're going to die. And usually it's the dog biting a man, not the other way around. So yeah, shallow, mindless, heartless. Sounds right. All women see love and companionship as only a means to a hedonistic end. Yeah. All women are evil and horrendous. I don't know about that. I think you're exaggerating a bit. I never said all women are evil and horrendous. Evil is a bit of a stretch. The devil in disguise. As Elvis Presley so famously puts it. Oh, Lord. This guy's old. This guy's really old. He's older than me. All women are good for sex, since you keep believing that they bring nothing to the table. They don't bring anything to the table. Tell me what they bring to the table. I love how people say women bring something to the table. Show me what they bring. Oh, they don't bring anything except a vagina. Oh, they don't bring anything to the table except sex. All women are useless in nature. Yeah. Mind you, I mean, show me something they can pick up, okay, that I can't pick up, all right? And then show me something like, who's the one lifting that big fucking heavy water jug and putting it on the top of the dispenser? That's the man, because the woman can't do it. Mind you, if that were really true, it is true, pinhead. All women shouldn't even exist in the first place. They do, because we men have protected them for hundreds of thousands, nay, millions of years, so that's why they exist, you dummy. Kind of defeats their entire purpose for being here, doesn't it? No, they're here to be incubators. They're essentially easy bake ovens to incubate the kid. That's what the purpose they serve, essentially, and that's about it. I think so. All women deserve to be pumped and dumped regardless of feelings or logic. They have no logic. They're just feelings, and yes, they're there to be pumped and dumped. And so are we, and I don't care. Go ahead, dump me. Pump me, dump me, I don't care. I got to fuck you, that's enough. That's almost like psychopathy. Oh, you're getting very close. So therefore, all women are detrimental psychopaths. You got it, buddy. All women are better off destroyed inside and out. I didn't say that. Pumping and dumping women destroys them. Doesn't destroy me. If some chick just sleeps with me, I don't hear back from her. So what? I think they're a little too emotional and need a thicker skin, who deserve to be washed out at any cost. Nope, didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth now, buddy. And for all of these reasons, all women are better off dead than they are alive. No, they're better off dead. They got it great. What are you talking about? They run Western civilization. They snap their fingers. And there's a man running over with a fucking beer on a little tray, and he's dressed like one of those dancers in a fucking male nudie bar. Come on, are you kidding me? Women have it made in the shade. They're not better off dead. They're much better alive. Now, men, on the other hand, might be better off dead, and that might explain why 87% of all suicides are men. Next. From a JCMA on fat women and why men hate them. That video is still getting play. I'm so happy. Some of you guys are fucking assholes. At least 60% of men are overweight and 33% obese, fat, and ugly, stinky pricks. Yeah, but we got money, so we can pay women to sleep with us. Women don't have money. I'm so glad that all you assholes are MGTOW beer bellies, bald, stupid morons. So am I. Next comment. By the way, which isn't true, but you can continue to blather all of your cuckboy nonsense, you white knight wimp. Brian Gruey and the real divorce rate in America. I appreciate the content, but not really a fan of the way you speak. Seems pretty sensationalized. Yeah, speaking the truth that is highly controversial and that people don't want to hear, that turns out to come across to some as highly sensationalized. Next comment from Alora Voice. Ask women these questions. That's the video. Now that I think about it, it's quite pathetic and really sad. Get over the girl who rejected you in high school. You know it's a woman. I mean, I didn't even have to say it was a Laura voice. I didn't even have to look at the name. I know it's a woman because only women make this argument. Women and extremely feminized guys whose balls almost make no testosterone but are pumping out estrogen now so they can become more like women and essentially get traction in a woman's world. Yeah, that's the argument you always hear, that shaming, bullshit argument, that emotional argument, because that's how she reacts to things. That's how a woman is. You see, this is a woman essentially projecting how she thinks, and this is why most single mothers are horrible, because they were such emotional creatures that once that man dumps her, she's going to take it out on that kid for 18 years if he's a man, and if it's a woman, she's going to turn her into a bitter, angry cunt. Get over the girl who rejected you in high school and go seek professional counseling. You're all going to need it. Unless sex robots become readily available and affordable, then you can probably practice your bullet-pointed questions like, how often do you work? I make quite a good living, honey. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. How often do you work? You can bump and dump your sex robot on the go. Rinse and repeat. Since dating women might be too scary because, just in case, they have a sense of identity or self-respect, which they don't, and would leave before you get a chance to ask your laundry list of stupid questions. MGTOW are really maug. An unpronounceable anagram. Men afraid of getting hurt. See, this is what a woman does. So women afraid of getting hurt. I mean, if men were afraid of getting hurt, we wouldn't be out there asking women out on dates. Men have the thickest skins on earth, and we risk rejection after rejection after rejection. You don't know what you're talking about. You're looking at men the way that a woman looks at men. You're looking at men and projecting your own way of dealing with situations onto them. But we don't deal with things like that, honey. Sorry. Next, from a Peter L. and my video, Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Tried to make it all the way through this, but you're the biggest fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up. Why should I? It's my video, moron, and people tune in to listen to me. Go ass fuck your buddy, you woman hate dickhead. So he has two U's, and he uses just the infinitive hate, and he doesn't use a continuous verb. He says hate, not hating. Very interesting. You show your stupidity in your writing, pal. Next, also from Peter L. and Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. If this guy who's yapping off, went head to head with Bill Burr, he'd look an even bigger moron than he is. I'm reading word for word here. So Bill Burr is a debater, a cunning linguist, a masturbator. He's a comedian. That's it. You're just a Bill Burr fanboy, okay? You're just a Bill Burr fanboy. That's all. I'm sorry I said something about your hero that you didn't like. Maybe you need to grow a thicker skin, buddy. Maybe you need to stop whining like a leftist punk. Next comment from someone named Nexus Clarum. And my video, Jordan Peterson attacks MGTOW. So I reply, he's already retracted those statements and apologized for them months ago. Why are you replying to it now? I have no idea. Well, because I wanted to. Because back when it came out, I was going to reply to it, but then it just slipped my mind. And I said, well, better late than never. That's why. He retracted them. He made a pretty much apology. It was essentially him just trying to placate people because he got an unexpected blowback. He didn't expect that many people to actually object to what he said. And his apology was very lukewarm at best. And I just thought it was very disingenuous. So, yeah, his reply, his retraction, his apology didn't mean much to me. Next, from Dan J. on Jordan Peterson attacks MGTOW. So I reply, MGTOW philosopher, what kind of broads did you get? What does it matter? A, I get laid. I get laid when I want to. And quite frankly, what they look like is irrelevant. Because I do not unlike you, judge my status as a man and my self-worth as a man based on the type of women that I get. No, I look at my accomplishments in life and my successes. You should try doing the same. Did you get hot bitches with nice big jugs and a tight ass? I don't like big tits, so no. That doesn't interest me at all. I find it not that attractive. Maybe that's what you like, but anyway, doesn't interest me. And next from Dan J. Yet again, MGTOW philosopher. At least I have the guts to admit that I couldn't get a hot-looking bitch. That's a shame, buddy, because I've gotten plenty. Maybe you shouldn't admit stuff like that. Next comment from Rage2203. And by the way, that doesn't define who you are as a person, but I guess you're bringing it up because essentially you have nothing else in the way of personal accomplishments to define you as a person or to speak well of you. So you're just talking about women and who you can and can't get. And by the way, you've told us you can't get good-looking women, which is pretty sad. So not only are you probably not a very good-looking guy, but you probably don't make very much money either. Too bad for you. Next comment. From Rage2203, Jordan Peterson attacks MGTOW, so I reply, Jordan Peterson has worked in the real world. He's a practicing psychologist. Blah, give me a break. Psychology is a pseudoscience. It's not a hard science. It's not real work. He's just sitting around blathering on, essentially doing what I'm doing, okay? And he's getting paid for it. He's just philosophizing. Blah, 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 blah. Pay me $7,000 a month. Yeah, okay. Very interesting. You're clearly a fanboy of his, and that's great. And I'm glad he's doing well, but it's a gimmick. He's nothing more than one of those sideshow carny psychics. That's it. I believe he has his own practice. He doesn't hide in academia. Yeah, he does. He works in academia. He's a professor. What are you talking about? He doesn't hide in academia. Get out of here. And another comment and we have a comment from Joseph H. Also on Jordan Peterson attacks MGTOW, so I reply. This was hardly a conversation, debunking debate. It was full of logical fallacies. If you're going to put philosopher next to your name, you might as well begin by avoiding really fundamental philosophical, reasonable principles. Okay, so you are just a cultural Marxist. You're a leftist. You are an adherent of the Frankfurt School because all you've done in your comment is pointed out essentially nothing. You've used critical theory, which is just the action of criticizing without giving arguments because arguments can be debunked, but general criticisms don't contain enough information about the why that you are criticizing, the reason that you are criticizing for the other person to essentially deconstruct your counter-argument because you're not giving a counter-argument. It's very clever. It's critical theory. I've seen it before. I'm very familiar with it. So shut the hell up until you have an actual counter-argument or argument of some kind to offer. Next comment from a Chloe Stevens and Jordan Peterson attacks MGTOW twice, so I reply. How did you women fuck it up? Isn't the law mostly decided by men? Oh, how did women fuck it up? I see. Isn't the law mostly decided by men? No. The law is decided by the person that votes. It's a democratic society, unfortunately. A democratic society is not really a good idea. It's just one step above socialism. I mean, essentially the mob rules. The mob's going to rule when you have a majority that works, thinks, acts as a group collective as opposed to a bunch of people who act individualistically. Men running around like chickens with their heads cut off, like cats that can't be herded. They don't tend to work together very well. And women who are natural collectivists. And they all will vote in their own best interest. 54% women in America. Good luck outvoting them when they are the majority. And then not only are they the majority, but they tend to vote more than men do. Yeah, so they're the ones that make the laws. Don't make the mistake of thinking that politicians are the ones that make laws. Politicians are the people that get voted into office to then do what their supporters want them to do. And the majority of politicians want to stay in office. They can't get a real job. That's their job. I mean, look at Bernie Sanders. Before the guy was a politician, he was sleeping on his mother's couch and working at some liberal rag that hardly sold any copies as some kind of a leftist anarchist writer. And he's still the same guy, just with no hair. And he's a much older guy now. And he got voted into office. And he's a crazy. He's a crazy son of a bitch. He's a crazy fuck, okay? So those are the type of people that get into government, and they get into government by doing what women want them to do. And we have another comment from Chloe Stevens. MGTOW philosopher, I can see why you're single. I love it. These comments are fucking hilarious. So let me explain something to you as the final comment of the day on this video. Most MGTOW are single by choice. I know it's very difficult for you to understand how somebody could be single by choice because you are not single by choice. You're single because you're angry, you're bitter, you're man-hating, and you're a feminist, and your view of the world and your man-hating ideology essentially make men avoid you like the plague. So I understand how you think that being single couldn't possibly be a choice because you have nothing to offer, and hence you project your own feelings and your own views of the world on the men, and you think men and women are equal. So the same reasons I'm having a difficulty finding a man, that's why men can't find women. Unfortunately, you're mistaken. Men are very logical and reasonable, and we're much more intelligent than you women on average. So we look at pros and cons, and us MGTOW men anyway are not slaves to the pussy. And we see how you work us, how you manipulate us, and how you essentially use the vagina as bait to get us into a relationship and then steal all our shit. We see that. So we don't get into relationships with you. It's that simple. I've had numerous chances to get married, and I've turned every single one of them down because I saw what a bad deal it was for me and that I wouldn't benefit in any way, shape, or form. And I date, and I have dated, and who said I'm single? I mean, I guess you could say I'm single in that I'm not in a serious relationship, but I have what I would call a roster of women that I can contact and bang. I don't know if that qualifies as single, not single, because I have no interest in being in a relationship. So I guess technically I'm single, and I'm quite happy to be. It's by choice. Don't you get it? We are not you. We are not you, ladies. We decide, at least on large part. Now, I'm sure there are some MGTOW guys who have no choice, so they just self-identify as MGTOW as an excuse. But the majority are not that way. Sorry to burst your bubble, honey. And that's it. And that is MGTOW Haters, Volume 5. Hope you enjoyed. I am the MGTOW Philosopher, and I wish you well. Take care.